What is going on, guys? My name is Noah. For those of you who might not know, I am the media director here and have been for the past 4 to 5 years. Been doing this for quite some time, and pretty much laid the foundation along with my old coworker Derek in building everything that all the tools that we have available today. Today, I'm just going to go over the super basic topic of streaming director and what that role entitles and or entails, not entitles, but regardless, whatever. Quick little note, the main tool that you will be using as a streaming director is this iPad. Everything that you need to be able to, from start to finish, it will be located here. The password for this iPad when you do open it up is just 091118. September 11th, 2018. When you do open this iPad, 99% of the time, you're gonna be greeted with the application already open. But regardless, if it is not open, you could always find it just here on the taskbar and just click that. So you're gonna be having a total of, well, I say 4, but 3 applications that you need to open. And then once I do open these, I can switch to the computer view, I guess. And so your primary application that you're gonna wanna open first is going to be vMix. If I click that button here, you'll see on the computer that the vMix app will open. There it is. And so after you do open that, you're also going to want to open at the same time OBS, which is already open because I'm using it to record the screen. But that's what this application looks like, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But and then YellowDuck. YellowDuck is going to be the final application that you're going to want to open. So you need all 3 of these. And the purpose for that is because vMix acts as a hub for all of our camera angles and all of the video information that's being sent from in-house to whoever is watching online. The other 2 applications, OBS and YellowDuck, work hand in hand with one another to act as a front for Instagram to be like, oh, that's a mobile device streaming a live stream, let it through. So that's pretty much all that is. So once you do open vMix, the final button that you're gonna need here on the iPad is going to be vMix Controls. Now, in vMix Controls, we have 3 folders. One's called Live Stream, Audio, and Cameras. Live streaming is going to be your bread and butter for the beginning and the end of service. This will allow you to record, start the stream, and turn on the foyer TV to display any information. And then at the end of the service, you're gonna wanna stop the recording, stop the live stream, and then stop the external. Audio, at first, I had it set up properly, something happened. So for the most part, you don't really have to worry about this. And honestly, I just recommend skipping over it. It's not gonna be super important, only because anything you can do in this folder, you can do in the application itself. And then we have lastly here, cameras. This is probably gonna be your most important folder, only because it has technically we used to have 4, but now we only really rock 3 inputs. So preview 1 through 3, cut 1 through 3, and fade 1 through 3. And these are just our camera angles. And then you have a little icon here called Pro P, stands for Pro Presenter. So any information that's being sent over through the Pro Presenter is going to be regulated through this push of a button, and that's going to be able to cycle through what they see online and stuff like that. So if I just go over YellowDuck here really quick, the purpose of YellowDuck, like I said, is just simply to have a means of streaming to Instagram, because just the way Instagram works and whatnot, technically you can't stream it on a desktop, right, like a computer. So what we ended up needing to have is this separate application to act as that gateway into Instagram, so that we can log into our Instagram account and stuff like that. So the way that YellowDuck and this kind of setup will end up looking like is just by this. YellowDuck will be open. I just keep it in the center, doesn't really matter. Anytime you log into YellowDuck, all of our passwords, for the most part, are gonna be found right here in Dashlane. That's gonna be this icon here. If you just simply click it, and like I said, we're logging into our Instagram account, all you have to do is type in Instagram. It's just gonna be this first button here, or this first tab here. It says Instagram-JBMH. And this is gonna provide our username, our password, and the email used for our Instagram account. And we're just gonna simply feed those into the YellowDuck. So if I copy the username here, bring it up in YellowDuck, and I can just hit Control V or just paste it into there. And same thing with the password, copy that, bring that back over, Control V, paste that into there. Now this is gonna log us into our Instagram account via YellowDuck. I'm just gonna go ahead and close that browser. Now, again, this is just so that Instagram is tricked into thinking that our streaming device is a mobile device, which technically it isn't. So again, that's the main purpose for that. Anytime you open up OBS, this is what it's gonna look like right here. Now, this basically gets our 1920 by 1080 video and feeds it into a vertical resolution so that they can see it on their mobile device vertically, kind of like how you would normally have it. Now, like I said before, YellowDuck and OBS go hand in hand in making this whole operation to stream to Instagram possible. And so this has a couple of text boxes and a little background. It's nothing too complicated. All those sources are here in this bottom section. But your main concern is just simply going to be connecting YellowDuck to OBS via a stream key. And that can be found here in the settings tab of OBS. Up into underneath the general is simply stream. And you're gonna see that both of these have stream key here and stream key here. Now, it's very important that, and you guys, I need you to remember this and practice this, but it's very important that you copy the stream key from YellowDuck and put YellowDuck into OBS, not vice versa. Because again, we're trying to log into Instagram and stream to Instagram, and YellowDuck is the way we get to that. So we need to make sure that OBS is filled with the stream key from YellowDuck. So we could just click this copy to clipboard, and that's gonna copy the entire stream key. We could come into here, into OBS. I do Control A. It's gonna select the entire text that are already in that box, and then Control V, and that's gonna paste it and simply override it. Now I know it doesn't really look like nothing's changed, but I promise you it changed. Then you need to click Apply, and then you can click OK. Now, after doing that, these two are completely set up and good to go. You do not have to touch these pretty much ever again. The third step, then the part that can't be accessed through our iPad, and this is the only part that can't be accessed through the iPad, is actually setting up our browsers for live streaming. Now, majority of the time, I can have this open, but it doesn't really matter. You're gonna come down here to click Google Chrome. You're going to select the JBMH Media account. Now this is just gonna open you up to regular Google, nothing too fancy. What I do is I just go ahead and you're gonna need a total of 3 browsers open. So I just hit Control T a couple of times to open a couple other browsers. And then we have a folder up here in the upper left that reads live stream. Anything you're gonna need really is gonna be found in here, or actually everything you're gonna need is found in here. Now what this is gonna do is this has 3 essential bookmarks basically to our streaming platforms. I fill this first tab up with Caster. So you just click the folder, click Caster. This is gonna log you in automatically because Dashlane. Just gonna click login, let that load. And then you're gonna click on Jubilee Bridge Livestream. And then that's it. Like you don't have to do anything else. Like that is it. The stream key and RTM link are already set up to vMix, so you don't have to worry about connecting those. And then these are already set up to our platforms, Facebook Live and YouTube, so you don't have to set up those either. But what we do need to do is open those up on separate browsers so that we can monitor them and make sure that they are running and that we can read comments and reply and do all that fun stuff. So you just go back into the live stream tab, click Facebook, and in this third one, I just go ahead and open up YouTube. So now Facebook, it can be a little interesting only because it kind of changes locations majority of the time. But regardless, what you're going to want to do is find the tab where it says, let's see, you switch into Jubilee, start managing. Is that what I want to do? Yeah. Okay. So that was weird. Normally it doesn't say that. Normally it opens it up to this, but if that, in that case, that's what you do. You want to manage the account. And then this is normally what you're going to be opening it up to is this page here. Obviously, we're going to be starting a live video. Now, sometimes this will open up like this, where you'll have these tabs kind of in this formation, and this is what it'll look like on this screen. But you just want to scroll down, and you're going to want to click live video, because that's what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be live streaming. So then we don't want to create a live video event. We want to go live, because we're starting this primarily before service starts. So we're going to go live, let this load. And then, like any live stream or video, it needs titles and descriptions, but I'm going to save that for a little bit later. So you come over into YouTube, onto the YouTube tab, and I'm just going to make this full screen again. And this is how it's going to already look like. Again, everything is already set up, so there's nothing for you to really do or change. Only thing that we need to update is the titles and descriptions. And so this is where Facebook and YouTube go hand in hand. So as you can see here on YouTube, if I just go up into this upper right corner, click Edit, and that's going to bring up titles and descriptions, and you scroll down just a wee bit, and you're going to see thumbnail and then playlist. Those are the only 4 things that we're going to need to change on YouTube. And then if you click here on where it says what's your live video about, sometimes it just says title and descriptions. They change it so much, but all Facebook requires of us is a title and description. So again, those are the things that we're going to need to update, and the way that we do that is the pastor, whether that's Adam or Michelle or Jessica or Hannah or whoever is speaking at the time, will always I say always, majority of the time, they are going to be emailing this to us. And I'll have this set up way before in advance when I normally get the email. But there is a Jubilee folder where we can come in here and grab Adam's New Year's message. So this is for the 12/30th, or for December 31st. So I'm recording this on December 29th, so it's a couple of days prior. So this is where it kind of gets maybe a little bit confusing, but I'll structure this in a better way when I actually put everything together in the video. On my own personal account, because of technological difficulties and all that other fun stuff, is where all of the titles and descriptions are going to lie. So you just go ahead and click Chris Flores, and then up in here I have a taskbar called Media Title and Descriptions with the Google Doc link. Go ahead and click that. And then this is where you're going to see every service that we've streamed, pretty much, and all of their titles and descriptions stored and organized. And again, like I said before, majority of this is already going to be set up. So all you'll have to do when you do have this job is just go to this link, and everything will be here ready to go. And then, so if I bring this down, I can close out of this, and I'll bring this to the side. So again, now we just simply copy and paste right over. That goes into the title, and I come over here to YouTube. That goes into the title. And then I come over here into description. So again, try not to highlight description itself, just right underneath it, and grab everything down to the end of the links. And then Control-C, paste that in there, click Save. And then come in here, Control-A to highlight everything, Control-V to paste over it. And then now you have your new title and descriptions on both Facebook and YouTube. Like I said, the YouTube is, after that for Facebook, you're done. You don't have to touch Facebook again until we go live. And then whereas YouTube has a couple extra steps, because we need to upload a new thumbnail, and we need to select another playlist that this is going to be set up in. So again, this particular service, December 31st, is in December, obviously, which is the month of joy for us here at The Bridge. So I'll just go ahead and click select a playlist, click December Joy, and done. Now that's already set. Thumbnail is going to be a bit of it shouldn't be too difficult. But you kind of have to work a little backwards, in the sense that when you open this is going to open up the previous dated folder for the previous or last week's service. So you'll have to come back into the 2023 folder up in here, and then I'll have a folder, and I'll just do that now to kind of, there will already be a dated folder ready to go for whoever is streaming. Go back again. Okay, there it is. Perfect. So, like I said, and so YouTube is the only one that's going to require a thumbnail. Facebook doesn't, for some reason. So you're just going to click these 3 little, I'll make this full screen so you guys can see better. You're just going to click these little 3 dots that says Options, and we're going to want to change this because we got to continuously update it. Click Change. Now this is going to bring you to the previous week's or the latest service is a dated folder. So you're going to want to go into the year before, and then you're going to want to click the dated, today's date. You know, so if I was coming in on December 31st, uploading and managing this stream, I would want to click on that date. So if I'm streaming for December 31st, or if in this case, Isaac, you're going to be watching this for January 3rd. And we talked about it. That'll be found in the 2024 folder. But in this instance, I'm just going to be, for example purposes, I'm going to be using this date. So you just click into today's dated folder. I always upload our media thumbnails into the graphics folder. There's not one in here right now because I haven't made it yet, but I will make that, and then that'll be accessible in there. But when you do open up a dated folder that does have a thumbnail in it, you click on number 4, graphics, and it's always going to be titled media thumbnail, and you can just double click it, or you can click on it and click open. Either way, that's going to upload the thumbnail into that folder. And then you can just go ahead and click save. And then now your 3 tabs and your 3 streaming services are set up to go, ready to go for when you click live. Obviously, I am not going to go live now because no purpose. But I will show you, I will give you a little hint. YouTube is the only tab or the only streaming platform to go live on its own. So when you do go live in vMix, YouTube will go live automatically. Facebook, you're going to have to come into the tab itself and click right here on the bottom left, go live. Like whatever reason, it just doesn't go live by itself, but you're gonna have to make sure that every tab is live. And same thing for, can close out of that. And same thing for Yellow Duck and OBS. So Yellow Duck, you're gonna have to click start broadcast here in the middle, and then on OBS, you're gonna have to click start streaming. You don't have to record it, just start streaming, and then that'll be good. So once you have all 3 different, OBS, Yellow Duck, and the browsers, once you have all 3 of those live through vMix, you don't have to touch anything again. Everything should just work. Fingers crossed, obviously. And if anything does go wrong, you can always text me or call me. So, and that's it. Again, and if there's any bits of parts of this that are confusing, just go back and rewatch it. Because I'm not actually streaming today, I am going to close out of all of this and get rid of that, and I close out of that. And so now I'm gonna move on to probably not the most complicated part of this tutorial, but the most tedious, because you're gonna have to really pay attention to vMix most of the time. So like I said, once you do click vMix on the iPad, it's going to launch a separate, or vMix itself. Please do not launch vMix from the taskbar. I'll probably have it removed, but do not launch vMix on the computer itself. You have to use the vMix application that started from the iPad itself. Please. If you're gonna mess up anything, do not mess up this. Make sure you are using the one from the iPad. Do not go onto the computer and do that. Open it from the iPad, okay? So once you do open it from the iPad, you're gonna be greeted with this screen. And from here, it's pretty straightforward. You're gonna wanna click open, because what we're gonna end up doing is opening a preset that's already filled and set to go with everything that you're ever gonna need. So you're gonna click right here up in the upper left, open, and you're gonna click the latest date. So if this is gonna be used for December 31st, like it is gonna be for this upcoming Sunday, I'm going to be using December 20th vMix preset file. And again, you could click it and click open, or you could just double click it, either way. Yeah, this is everything the template has in it. Has our cameras, so camera 1, 2, and 3. It has our NDI connection from the ProPresenter computer, so Pro-P. It has our audio interface that lives on top of the white computer. And basically what that does, or what that is the audio from the soundboard. So any audio that's being captured in-house is processed through the soundboard and then ran through to connect it to that audio interface, and then from the audio interface into the computer itself. And vMix recognizes that as audio H.224 analog 1+2. And then we have an audio file, which is just like an MP3 of background music, or BG music. Not the Bee Gees, just BG music. And then, so as long as you want to make sure that all these are checked, it should be, but just make sure all those are checked, and you just want to click open. It's going to load the preset, and then this is what it's going to look like. Obviously, none of my angles or none of the cameras are turned on right now, but they should be, and I'll show you what that looks like, because let me just go ahead and turn one of them on. And the reason why you're going to want to make sure, or actually a little side note, majority of the time before you get to the booth, as you're walking back there, turn on the cameras before you get to the booth. So all 3 cameras should be on before you get to the booth. Excuse me, before you get to the booth, loaded with either the AM or PM preset. AM for Sunday mornings, PM for Wednesday nights. Obviously, Isaac, you're gonna be doing the Wednesday night service, so you're gonna wanna load the PM preset, and I'll give you a little snippet of how to do that again. That should load all of 3 angles into vMix, which you'll see there now. Because I just turned them on. They're out of focus, it doesn't really matter. I'm just showing you what you're gonna be looking at. So you're gonna have all 3 of your vMix input, or all 3 of your camera inputs, as well as, and again, for this particular scenario where Isaac, you're gonna be taking over that service on Wednesday, John will be here and he should have ProPresenter up and running. So I'm not gonna go into detail about what that looks like or how to set that up, only because that's not the purpose of this video. But so majority of the time, ProPresenter will always be operated by someone else, or hopefully operated by someone else, and the streaming director will not have to take that upon himself or herself to do. But regardless, if I just click that input there. So now, as you can see, we have all 4 inputs. So we have all 3 camera angles, and we have ProPresenter as our 4th input of all the digital information that's gonna be sent to vMix. And again, we have these 2 here. You can just right click these to open these up. I just keep them closed because you don't really need them to be open. Now, if we come back into the iPad here, the very first application that you're gonna see is vMix Controls. It has the skull and crossbones on it, called vMix Controls. If you tap on it, obviously you go to live stream, and like I said before, we have our 3 angles: previews to cuts to fades, and then ProPresenter, so Pro P, so that toggles on and off for what the live stream can see, as you can see there. So I'm just simply pushing this button back and forth, on, off, and then if I preview camera 1, which, real quick, anything that's previewed, there's 2 separate screens here, as you can see. On the left, the orange is preview. That means the live stream or whoever's watching it on the other end cannot see it. So that means it's previewed by you, because you want to make sure that your angles are good to go before you send them to the live stream itself. So you can preview camera 1, which it is now. You can preview camera 2 and preview camera 3. So you have access to all 3 angles before you make them live. Now, when you do go make them live, you're either going to want to cut, so you can cut them. So right now, on the right side, green is what's live. So green is what's live here. If I cut to camera 1, boom, right? If I cut to camera 2, boom, and I can cut back to camera 3. I don't usually cut, only because it's just my preference. You can totally cut angles. I don't. It doesn't really matter either way. It all achieves the same thing, because I fade. I just like the way it looks. It's a bit softer of a transition from one to the next. And obviously, you know, we're at church, so I don't know. That's just my personal preference again. So, but same thing like cuts. You can cut from 1, 2, and 3. But again, right side, or green, where it's green here, is live. Orange is preview. Okay. Whatever you do, do not overlay your angles or your inputs, your camera inputs. So if you're ever in a pinch where you are like, you know, I'm clicking fade, I'm clicking fade 2, I'm clicking fade 3, you know, I'm cutting to different angles and it's not changing, it's most likely because that camera input is set to an overlay. So if you see one of these numbers highlighted in green, click it to turn it off, because that means it's acting as an overlay. The only thing that we want to be having as an overlay is ProPresenter. So the graphics you see that are rotating right here on ProPre's input, if I click the ProPresenter button on the iPad, you can notice how that number 1 lights up. That means it's overlaying the other input that was already previously there. So if I turn that off, we can see that camera 1 is here, right? If I make camera 3 live, so we can see that camera 3 is live. I click Pro P on the iPad itself. That overlay is on top of that previous input. So camera 3 is underneath, Pro Pre is on top, and you can always double check that right here in this upper corner where it says Cam 3. So I know that Cam 3 is underneath Pro Presenter. So if I'm ever like wanting to transition an angle without really being too obvious about it, I start on camera 3, I can now transition to camera 1. They are still seeing the overlay of graphics, but as you look back here, camera 1 is now live, and I take Pro P off, now we're to camera 1. So that's another transitioning kind of tool that you can use. Like I said before, when it comes to audio, majority of the problems, if there are problems, are gonna be up to whoever the sound engineer is of that day. Majority of the time, it's gonna be John. So anything that you monitor with the headphones that are right here, because whatever you hear in these is what they're hearing on the live stream itself. We have two separate audio inputs, right? We have our audio interface, or any of the, or the audio that's being captured in-house and then put to the live stream, and then we have background music. Background music, its sole purpose is to simply introduce the live stream. Because when I personally try to go live anywhere between 7 to 8 minutes, and the reason for that is because we have a 5-minute countdown timer that we start. So before that, I personally like to show our graphics with the countdown to kind of introduce the stream, kind of get the information out there, and then we can start the 5-minute countdown. And again, that's handled by whoever's operating Pro Presenter that day. So during those 2 minutes or 2 to 3 minutes difference, because if you're starting at 8 minutes and there's a 5-minute countdown, right? So you have 2 to 3 minutes to play with, where I will make this background music live, have the graphics playing. So now as you can see in our master, right, we have the background music playing. Now, when you have external open, and if you're recording, which I'm not going to, and if you're streaming, which I'm not going to, you will have other inputs and other monitoring tools like this, where it'll say external, it'll say recording, and it'll say streaming. They're all the same, doesn't matter. But let's say now we're coming up onto the 5-minute mark. I will go ahead and raise the in-house audio and then pull down the background music, because the 5-minute countdown has music of its own that we are allowed to stream and play without getting flagged for copyright, because we own that video and we pay for it. The reason why I have this down before that 5-minute countdown is because what ends up happening is we tend to play Spotify or music that isn't ours in-house, which can be picked up by this input if it's up. And then we don't want to get flagged for copyright and get our channels striked for that. And so that's the purpose of keeping this audio interface down before the 5-minute countdown. Once the 5-minute countdown goes live, the audio engineer should switch on the board itself those inputs. He will bring down the Spotify or whatever house music he's playing and bring up the 5-minute countdown music. So I will bring the audio interface up and then bring the background music down. You can, if you click on the input itself, so like normally we'll have a separate input here, but if you click on background music itself, you can click pause and restart. You don't have to, it eventually run out. Regardless, they're not gonna hear it. At this point, the audio interface is already gonna be up and ready to go. So the transition between 5-minute countdown to service starting is seamless. Like that's it. That input is already up. So anything they're singing, anything they're saying should already be coming through after the 5-minute countdown. And again, once you go live, so you'll click on your, in the live stream folder, you have those 3 options, which are just these ones down here. So record is record, stream is stream, and external is external. Straightforward. So I can stop and start, like for example, that external, so that's off, and I click it again, that turns it on. Off, on. That's all there is to it. Like I said, you're going to be living on your camera angles 100% of the time during service. And then once service comes to an end, that is when you'll go back to the live stream and you can click on these buttons, or you can click on vMix itself. Either way, serves the same purpose. Now, that is simply setting up the stream. During service, it is completely monitoring. You're just looking out for when a camera angle, if a camera goes down, it'll freeze frame. So we want to make sure, like let's say we have Pro Presenter off and I'm streaming on camera 1 right now. Camera 1 goes frozen, it just freezes. I'm going to switch to camera 3 to transition the angle to get away from it. And then if you're by yourself or if you have a camera operator that is wearing a headset, you can tell them over the intercom, hey, your camera is down, go ahead and power reset that. They will turn the camera off, turn it back on, and that should solve the issue. And that's majority of the time, that's what you're gonna be needing to fix. And that's about it, really. That's the streaming and directing process all in one. In terms of closing stuff down, stop the stream on vMix first. So you'll click stream, that'll turn the stream off, and then you can just close out of the other browsers like I did earlier. And then just go ahead and stop recording, stop external, stop stream. And then I like to click save. So I'll click save. So anything that was changed, which nothing should. And then you can just close out of vMix and close. Just gonna close vMix, and now we're just back to here. And again, so that's streaming directing, like kind of just in a nutshell. And I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but hopefully it's not too long. So yeah, like I said, any questions, please contact me, text me, call me. If I'm ever gone or if I'm ever absent, please call me with any issues or troubleshooting problems that come up. And that should be streaming directing in a nutshell. And yeah, thank you for listening, and good luck.